शला चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। Welcome everyone to this transcendental program of studying Param Dharma, highest duty of humankind, called the Param Dharma or the Bhagavad Dharma. The mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so immense, so unique, and so unprecedented that although all the manifestations of God or all different avenues of the manifestation of God's mercy through so many avenues and agents, they are all meant to cause the ultimate benefit or blessing to the humankind, especially. So they are all magnanimous. Santihi avtara bahave pushkar nabhashya sarvato bhadra. The lotus navel Lord, from whose lotus navel manifests this whole existence, and to maintain and sustain this whole existence, the Lord has been playing the most pivotal role. Anything can be created, but real struggle and real function is to maintain and sustain and keep it growing, evolving. So that is the role. Sarvato Bhadra, so all manifestations of God, they are all very auspicious, most auspicious. But still, from the viewpoint of bestowing the love of God, the bestowing of love of God is a totally different category. Only Krishna bestowed love to all who came across him. Krishna is so cunningly attractive that everybody was drawn to him, could not save oneself to be drawn towards Krishna. Somehow or other, everybody was drawn to Krishna. Krishna's attraction was so amazing. Kandarpa Koti Kamani. In this material world, the highest attraction is caused by the Madana or the Kamadeva, lust. And its demonstration is male to female attraction. Just one attraction just can take away our mind. This we have experienced innumerable time. So we can imagine from that point of view that the Krishna's beauty is so cunningly attractive that he subdues even the beauty of millions of people. This is the experience of just Brahma. Then what to speak about the experience of those who are conjugally obsessed with him, the gopis and ultimately the Parama Gopi Srimati Radharani. We can only wildly imagine only. We cannot fathom the effect of Krishna's beauty on them. So this said, Krishna caused that special love euphoria in everybody, including even the animals, those who are not humans. Humans are evolved with the special capacity to become or desire or the temptation to become involved with Krishna somehow or other. But that bestowing of love of Godhead, love of himself, was limited to Brajamandal, within the realm of Vrindavan. Nobody outside could get that benefit. So, so bestowing of love, and although Krishna is very pleased, but when he sees the position or the joy or the overwhelming happiness expressed in the gopis and especially Srimati Radharani, then he wonders, wow, I am having a lot of fun making everybody dance and completely causing tremendous obsession in everyone towards me. But then he wished, wow, what kind of obsession, what kind of joy they are having. So Krishna is the object of everybody's love. But those who are the ashraya or the subject, they demonstrated amazing symptoms. So it caused wonder even in Krishna. So when especially the symptoms manifested on Radharani's body and her expressions caused such wonder in Krishna. Krishna, by definition, he is God. So what could be so wonderful, or anything can be wonderful for Krishna because he's omniscient, one who sees everything, knows everything. How could anything be of wonder? But then Krishna would remain deprived of what is the feeling of feeling wonder. So Krishna wondered, what is this? Anyway, to find the solution, because of his disposition as the object of everyone's love, he could not experience what the lovers experience about him. What kind of sweetness of his beauty is. What is kind of the nature of love of Ashraya Jati. Ashraya Jati means those who become the lover. Krishna is the beloved of everyone. He also loves Radha and Gopis and everybody, but primarily he's the object of love for everybody. Everybody loves him. So when Krishna wanted to become a lover, as Radharani loves Krishna, so he assumed the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani, whereby he could experience the unlimitedness of his own sweetness. Wow. Now he became supremely magnanimous when what he experienced and the unlimitedness of it, he wants to now demonstrate. That is also the desire of Srimati Radharani. Radharani, what Radharani is blessed with because of her exclusive superlative bhav called Mahabhava. She is able to experience the unlimitedness of Krishna's sweetness unlimitedly. She alone. That's why her position, her situation is like that. So now, but how can one who is so most glorious would glorify himself or oneself? So the glory of Radharani, uniqueness of her love, and the level at which she experiences Krishna's sweetness, and the kind of joy she experiences, it is so exclusive. Of course, she shares with her most confidential, inconceivably, by the inconceivable mercy of Srimati Radharani, she causes her confidential maidservants to experience what she experiences in when she is with Krishna. So that's the thing. Now Krishna wants to distribute that sweetness of Krishna, the possibility of experiencing the sweetness of Krishna. He devised a way, because those who are already in the confidential service of Srimati Radharani, they get, and they experience so much happiness and joy by the inconceivable mercy of Radharani. that these maidservants of Srimati Radhani, they are not interested in Krishna even conjugally. There is no conjugal proclivity or attraction. So this Manjaris or the maidservants of Srimati Radhani, they have become a special, unique, exceptional species. They are not interested in Krishna, who causes attraction in everyone else. That is the kind of fortune which Mahaprabhu has come to give us. That's why he's celebrated as Mahavadanya by Rupa Goswami. Know the incarnation bestowed what he has come to bestow, and we are the recipients through this arrangement and the service of all the followers of Mahaprabhu, starting with his direct associates, Rupa Raghunath Goswamis, subsequent acharyas. Through that connectivity, it has come to us also. So we can, with more explained and more wonderfully aided the beauty and all the aspects and nuances of this Radha Dashyam, the highest platform of love of God. Love of God means the level at which higher the level of love of God, because love of God also has many variegatedness due to different sentiments, different bhavas, in the mood of just neutrality, shantarasa, in servitude, in friendship, in parental affinity, and conjugal affinity, ultimately. Because Krishna's Swarup is Ujjval Rasa, Adi Rasa. So Krishna experiences highest joy. Of course, Krishna provides joy. He is the source of all rasa joy for everybody. But he also Rasik Shekhar. Rasik Shekhar means the highest connoisseur, so one who tests new and new flavors of conjugal mellow, and Radharani and her Kaivu expansion, the gopis provide all the necessary ways through which he can experience the love of Srimati Radharani. That way becomes fully fulfilled, fully satisfied. So when a person becomes fully satisfied and he realizes that what he got is unlimited. So what Krishna has got his unlimited beauty. So even if Krishna relishes all of it, still it remains unlimited. Correct? So he wouldn't mind to distribute it freely. And this is how it has come. So currently what we are studying is Sri Prema Bhakti Chandrika by Sri Narottam Das Thakur. And in that he is enlightening us in every sloka, different aspects, and especially connecting us the kind of bhajan we should worship exclusively the divine couples, Sri Radha Krishna, without having any ulterior motive, but only targeting their joy, the increase of their joy. So if we can become fully consumed in becoming an instrument, as an instrument to cause or bring some joy, more joy to the divine couple, not getting distracted by any ulterior motives, then that is the highest level of fulfillment for the soul also. Soul wants to become fully consumed to serve the purpose of the source. So the divine couple is our source. Radharani especially is she is the source of all the energies. Radha Purna Shakti, although generally in concepts, it describes that Krishna is all living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. But Krishna is the Purusha, and Radharani is the Purna Shakti, complete source of energy. So we also because we are the energy, we are not Purusha. So our source is in Srimati Radharani, and that's why this understanding must be fully appreciated, that we are Radhas and primarily, and secondarily through Radhas, through becoming Radhas, we have something to do with Krishna only to serve the purpose of Sri Radha. And the purpose of Srimati Radharani is to please or bring more joy, more experience of chamatkari, wonderful experiencing the new and new mellows of conjugal love. Thus said, so Narottam Das Thakur in the last sloka, he described that Yugala Bhajana Jara Premanande Bhasetara. He is describing the fortune of those who are most purely engaged in the worship of the divine couple Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. Tahare Nichani Tribhuvane, those who become blessed with the fortune of doing exclusive Yugal Seva, exclusive worship of the divine couple. They float in an ocean of rasa. Premanande Bhasetara means they float in an ocean of rasa and ecstatic love. And all the people from the three worlds glorify them. Wow, you have made it. This is the highest fortune anybody attain, anybody can attain. All the people from the three worlds. So in the upper worlds are the demigods, devatas of different sorts. Also the forefathers and who else? So all the people from the three worlds worship them. Those who attain the fortune of the worship of Sri Radha Shyam Sundar with the greatest devotion. So this worship of Radha Krishna is very, very confidential, even for the Vedas. But in this particular age, again and again, we have to remind ourselves about definite possibility of us attaining the highest portion of the worship of the divine couple Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. Although even for the Vedas, the worship of Radha Krishna is very confidential to attain it. But in this particular age of Kali Yuga, it has been made possible. It has become Sriman Mahaprabhu's unprecedented great gift of mercy that has been practiced and preached in all detail for the world at large by the Acharyas, starting with the Shad Goswamis, Rupa Sanatana, who have surrendered at his lotus feet. So this Yugal Upasana, supreme is singular, correct? That is common understanding. But if that singular one, supreme, wants to manifest oneself as a couple, one couple, so this Yugal form of absolute Shri Radha Krishna is the supreme truth. In the summit of all Sambandha Tattva, we gain our identity because they are the source of the whole existence. Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. I am the source of all existence, material or beyond. So we all gain our identity in relation to the divine couple. And this has been elaborately described, especially by Jiva Goswami, how Krishna is the root of everything, including all of us. So actually, it is impossible for any living entity to cause disconnection from Krishna. Our disconnection is perceived because of our conditioned soul's disconnection from Krishna is perceived due to his forgetfulness of it. But in essence, nothing Nothing can exist disconnected totally from Krishna. So, and the highest form of divinity is expressed in the manifestation of Radha Krishna, because when we talk about divinity or God, the general connotation is the opulence, but ultimately it is the Madhurya Bhagavata Sar. God is manifested in many kinds of relational principles, but amongst them, the manifestation of Sri Radha Krishna Sri Radha Krishna is the supreme. What is the reason? Reason is that Sri Krishna or Radha Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Original. The fountainhead of all personalities of Godhead. Although the most complete principle of divinity is prowess, Shakti, opulence, he is the embodiment of divine sweetness. And sweetness is so unlimited that it engulfs his opulence aspect or opulent aspect. Such sweet cherry lips, can you think of such an overwhelming, attractive beauty of Krishna? Such a sweet cherry lips, lovely, tender smiles, glances, and sounds that are cooler than nectar. And flute songs are not found in any other major personality of Godhead. Then again, high waves are created on the ocean of Sri Krishna's sweetness when Srimati Radharani, who is endowed with Madanakya Mahabhav, exclusive superlative sentiment or disposition, is present. So with Radharani, when Krishna sent, he becomes Madana Mohan. Krishna becomes so totally, subdued, captured by Krishna, by Radharani's special disposition in Madanakya Mahabhav. Hence the Vedas said, what they say? Madhava is illuminated by Radha. Krishna is the source of illumination for the whole existence. But Radharani's disposition, bhava, illuminates even Krishna. What a ultimate essence or highest status of Srimati Radharani. That she illuminates the one who is celebrated as the Supreme. She is the illuminator of the Supreme. So he's the ultimate Supreme. Hidden, this aspect even hidden from the Vedas, or maybe it is in the Veda, but in very, very select, very, very. This is the highest secret which Mahaprabhu manifested, made it available for the whole world to experience and appreciate. So, to establish proclaim the supremacy of Sri Radha Krishna, who have been united in Kunja Vihar in the conjugal affair in Sri Vrindavan. That manifestation of the Supreme is Sri Radha Krishna having the love dealing is the supreme truth, the supreme, and they are discussing their dealings with the highest joy. So those who, and ultimately in the last sloka, in order to encourage and in order to cause our absolute attraction, to be able to participate in dealing and discussing and observing the love dealing pastimes of the divine couple in Nikunj Mandir of Vrindavan. So the motivation expressed by Narottama Das Thakur in the conclusion of last sloka, when he says, those who worship Radha Krishna float in ecstatic love. Ecstatic love. Although different manifestations of God are Krishna's only, but Krishna being the original form, so he's the ultimate source of all beauty and attraction. The more a personality of Godhead is close to the original personality of Godhead, different names, Ramana, Singha, Varaha, they also have some aspect of Krishna's beauty and opulence. So the more a personality of Godhead is close to the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, then those who are devoted to that form, somebody is devoted to Lord Ramchandra, somebody to Singadev, and different Sriman Narayan. So devotees dedicated to those forms, those manifestations of Krishna, how much they are close in how much the other forms manifest the beauty and the opulence of Krishna. Not as much, because in original form, the complete beauty and unlimited opulence is demonstrated. So naturally, those who are devoted to other manifestations of Krishna, they demonstrate only that much love. Meaning, since Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and the Lord to his utmost extent, this aspect. The devotees who surrender unto Sri Krishna's lotus feet also show the utmost manifestation of love. The devotees who worship Vrindavan's pure sweetness in the mood of a friend or a parent or a servant show great signs of prema rasa, but still within the gopis and maid servants of Sri Radha Krishna, who are the summit of the supreme truth, for the matchless ocean of sweetness and beauty. Prema, love, is manifest to the utmost. Utmost love is manifest in the proclivity of the Braj Gopis and the maid servants of Sri Radha Krishna. Above all, the relish of loving mellows of Sri, among them also, among the gopis, which gopis? The maid servants of Sri Radha. The, the matchless Radharani's maid servants, or kinkaris, their love, their relish of loving mellows, their relish of the loving mellows of the divine God, because they are so confidential. In the most intimate circumstances also, they are able to observe the increase of mutual sweetness and joy of the divine couple. Radharani's joy manifests when she experiences her love causing joy in Krishna. And Krishna also notices Radharani's joy. But Radharani cannot experience, cannot see the joy manifested on her face or on her limbs. Only Krishna observes. The joy expressed in on Krishna's body, only Radharani notices. But the kinkaris, they are so confidential. They are able to observe and relish the joy manifest in both Radha and Krishna. And that's why their fortune of relishing the sweetness of the divine couple is greatest. Yeah. The relish of loving mellows of Sri Radha's maid servants or kinkaris is the highest, greatest. So this practice of Manjari Bhava is the goal of all of us Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are called the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they follow the guidelines and the directions of Rupa Goswami. That's why we are called Rupanugas in this present age. Hence, it is said that the worshippers of Radha Krishna are floating on billowing waves of the flavors of ecstatic love and thus meet with the ocean of rasa named flavors of ecstatic love and thus meet with the ocean of rasa. Who is ocean of rasa? Krishna. Named Shyama, and the ocean of prema, that is Srimati Radharani. So Krishna is celebrated as the ocean of melo, rasa. That's why he is beloved for everyone. But Radharani is the ocean of prema. That's what attracts and uh, subjugates Krishna. Even can you imagine? Ocean of rasa, who influences everyone, becomes influenced by the ocean of prema Radharani. So how much love Radharani has? Such a superlative. She causes waves and tsunami even in the ocean of Melo Krishna. So in other words, they go down to the groves of Braja and become more blessed than blessed there by connecting in their service the ocean of rasa, Sham, and the ocean of prema, Radharani. So you know they go down to the groves of Braja and become more blessed than blessed there. The people of the three worlds are worshipping them in Arati and thus also consider themselves blessed. So, since our path is to follow in the footsteps of these Manjari's maid servants, or those who are endowed with those sentiments, as identifying oneself as a confidential choice as maid servant of Srimati Radharani. Since we are following in their footsteps, subservience of such, we also we fully stand to one day certainly attain that fortune. And our hope, the Asha Bandhita, it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee because our connectivity, feeling the connectivity to Mahaprabhu's most magnanimity and our subservience to those who are perceived as fully blessed or most blessed, we also stand full chance to become fully blessed. Now in today's shloka, the the ultimate means to attain that fortune is described. Means serving Krishna while residing in Vrindavan. So elaborately described. It could be said in just this translation and the conclusion of Rupa Goswami this sloka can just conclude in one in a nutshell. But when we expand it, it just involves us. It just opens a lot of possibilities of our participation into this. पृथक आवास योग दुखमय विषय भोग ब्रजवास गोविंद सेवना कृष्ण कथा कृष्ण नाम सत्य सत्य रस धाम ब्रज जनिर संग अनुक्षण associating with the Braja, those who are residents of Vrindavan, to be in anukshana, constant, all the time associating with those who are the residents of Vrindavan. Residents of Vrindavan means here, meaning those who are connected, Brajavasis, those who are in the direct service of the divine couple. It says to live anywhere else would be such a wastage of time. To live anywhere else but in Braja. Prithak Avasa Yoga. Prithak means separate or away from. Avas means staying. To live anywhere else but in Vrindavan is just a form of miserable sense gratification. Most people do live outside Vrindavan, correct? And they're living outside Vrindavan, anywhere else other than Vrindavan is described, or we should perceive, just is just a form of miserable sense gratification. But what if, just as most people cannot live literally with their bodies in Vrindavan, for them the arrangement is made. But residents, but even mental residents in Braja, in service to Govinda, speaking of Krishna and chanting his holy name in the constant company of the couple, of the people of Braja, is truly the abode of transcendental flavors. That is most relishable. This nature of Brajavasa is most relishable. And this is the only means to attain the ultimate fortune. Because we want to develop and experience constantly the affinity for the Vrindavan, and which aspect of Vrindavan where the confidential conjugal affairs, love dealing pastimes are manifest. We want to enter that realm. We hanker to become eligible, to become blessed with that fortune. Wow. So this understanding must increase in our consciousness that to live anywhere else but in Vrindavan is just a form of miserable sense gratification. But residence, even mental residence in Braja in service to Sri Govinda, speaking of Krishna and chanting his holy name in the constant company of the people of Braja is truly the abode of transcendental flavor. So this is exactly what Rupa Goswami also in one of the slokas in Upadeshamrita, he says, Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyoja Tishtan Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Iti Upadesha Saram. Exactly. This is the same thing. Express that yes, the conclusion, if all we have to just capture, deepen our appreciation and understanding and focus that we can attain this position in our as a sadhaka, engaging the tongue and the mind respectively in glorifying and recollecting the holy names, forms, attributes, and pastimes of the Brajendranadan Sri Krishna in the greatest possible way, in order to means in order to come to or bring ourselves to this status where what is it? Engaging the tongue and the mind respectively in glorifying and recollecting the holy names, forms, attributes, and pastimes of Brajendranandan, Vrindavan Sri Krishna Chandra in the greatest possible way. What one should do? One should live one's whole life in Vrindavan, following in the footsteps of the devotees of Braja. That is the most critical thing. Apparently, one may live in Vrindavan, but one is not in association of such people who are in that mood which we aspire to be, to attain. Following in the footsteps of the devotees of Vrindavan, who are very attached to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna means Radha Krishna. This is the essence of all instructions, and this is described. But how much relish when this proposal or this ideal expressed here in this Prema Bhakti Chandrika. वृंदावने किम अथवा निज मंदिरे वा कारागृहे किम अथवा कनकासने वा ऐन्द्रं भजे किम अथवा नरकं भजामि श्री कृष्ण सेवनम उते न सुखम कदापि अनुक्षणं ब्रजवासी भक्त जैनै सह श्रुता कीर्तिता वा कृष्ण कथा तै सह श्रुतम कीर्तितम वा कृष्ण नाम सत्यम सत्यम रसधाम स्यात्. This is in Sanskrit what we just discussed, you know. So in this Tripadi, the serving the divine couple Sri Govind while residing in Vrindavan. So in this Tripadi, Nautam Das Thakur is glorifying the worship of the divine couple Sri Radha Govind and residence in Vrindavan by saying Prithaka Avasa Yoga Dukkhamaya Vishay Bhoga. When we will find our residence or making our residence in Vrindavan literally most most necessary, only by in contrast if one takes up residence outside of Vrindavan. What is the disadvantage? If one takes up residence outside of Vrindavan, within the mundane world, miserable sensual enjoyment will become our infatuation. Wow. Miserable sensual enjoyment will become one's lot or fascination or infatuation. Outside of the transcendental abode of Vrindavan, the whole world is an illusory creation. Therefore, all the objects in this mundane creation, all the objects in this mundane creation are also made of false ingredients, perishable. We are hankering for akhanda sukha, uninterrupted anand or bliss. And because of our affinity with this perishable world, we insist because we haven't found the alternative outside of it. Our experience of the senses and the mind is only stuck within this the boundary of this material existence. We don't have a conditioned soul doesn't have any even imagination that there's something exists beyond this realm. So whatever experience the living entity has been having since eternity, he thinks that's it, and he's stuck like that. So outside of the transcendental abode of Vrindavan, the whole world is an illusory creation. Therefore, all the objects in this mundane creation are also made of false ingredients, enjoying which will result in the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. This is the this is the gift of this material existence. Gift of death. Is it a good proposal? Wandering through different species of life and suffering in different successive hells. Hence, the advice is given to the practitioners to always live in Vrindavan. Kuryad Vasam Braje Sada. Those who are unable to physically live in Vrindavan can also attain the fruits of living in Vrindavan. That is, what is the fruit of living in Vrindavan? The bliss of worshipping Sri Krishna or Sri Radha Krishna by living there mentally. Still, the diligent practitioners, those who are very serious, conscious, who desire to achieve prema, take the physical residence in Vrindavan as one of their main rules. And hence it is said that living in this false mundane world is full of misery. When that position, our appraisal of residence in Vrindavan has to reach at such a point that residence anywhere else would be so undesirable. Correct? So as we evolve in our appreciation of Krishna consciousness, then this physical residence in Vrindavan with the present body becomes more and more attractive, more and more tempting, and more, or ultimately indispensable. Yeah, we have to come to that stage. That's why I said the diligent practitioners who desire to achieve prema take the physical presence in Vrindavan as one of their main rules, and hence it is said that living in this false mundane world is full of misery, especially residing in Braja is one of the most powerful means to attain prema. Only if we can sustain that aspiration when we are in Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is also very testing. Vrindavan also has, in Vrindavan also has manifest many temptations and distractions nowadays. So one has to sustain the inner, sustain the totally transcendental appreciation of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is it is, but in order to keep those who are not qualified to live in Vrindavan, Vrindavan appears as like mundane. But those who are blessed with the appreciation of transcendental nature of Vrindavan, they can still sustain that focus and desire to be in Vrindavan in spite of seeing mundane affairs in Vrindavan. That's why it's testing. Yeah. So it's a fact though, nonetheless. Residing in Vrindavan is one of the most powerful means to attain prema, if you really want it. Sadhu Sangha Nam Kirtan Bhagavata Shravan. The five limbs of 64, out of 64 limbs of devotional service, the five limbs are repeated in Bhakti Samasya, the beginning and also end. What are the five those things? Nama Kirtan, these five limbs of devotional practice. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, association of the sadhus, Nama Kirtan, participating in chanting of the holy name. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravana, studying and relishing Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. Then Mathura was, this is the word, residing in Vrindavan itself. And Sri Murtira Shraddha Sivan, and worshipping the deity form of the Lord with absolute faith that it is. Deity is Krishna himself. Not Krishna's deity. Deity is Krishna. To think that this is Krishna's deity is also not full appreciation of the deity. Deity is Krishna. So that kind of faith, if one worships the deity, then he is worshipping directly Krishna. Sakala sadhana shrestha ei panchanga. The best means these five limbs of devotional practice are the best. Krishna prema janamai ei pancher alpa sanga, even little association or little practice of these five or one of these five can cause sprouting of love in the heart. Once again, recounting, associating with sadhus, sadhu sangha, chanting the holy name of the Lord, Nama Kirtan, then Bhagavata Shravan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of those who are relishing the mellows of Bhagavatam. Then fourth, residing in the district of Mathura. It's all Brajamandal, Vrindavan. And fifth, faithfully serving the deity. So these five are the best means to attain love for Krishna. Even a slight contact with any of these five items can yield the desired result. The power of these five items of worship are hard to fathom and most astonishing. Even without faith, the slightest contact with these items will suddenly cause love for Krishna to arise in the heart of an offenseless person. Offenseless. That's the key. That's the catch. Out of great compassion for the worldly people, Sri Krishna's eternal transcendental playground of Braja has descended to the material world and always remains there. Out of great compassion for the worldly people, this Vrindavan has manifested and staying still. So easily we can have access to it. Just purchase the ticket and reach Vrindavan. It's so easy. But that is not so difficult, but to sustain the mood. Because most people go to Vrindavan with a return ticket. They don't go to stay there forever, correct? But when that day will be ours, we will go to Vrindavan with this one-way ticket only. Done with the rest of the world. Correct? When we will gain sufficient appreciation that out of great compassion for the worldly people, Lord Sri Krishna's eternal transcendental playground of Vrindavan has descended to the material world and always remains there. Actually, all the abodes of the Supreme Lord can be found on the surface of the earth, are also present in the spiritual sky of Vaikuntha. Replica is a transcendental land, Dham, Vrindavan and others. They all have their presence in the spiritual sky called Vaikuntha. Why they have descended? Because the Lord performs his pastime only in his realm. Sambhavami Atma Maya. That's why with the manifestation of his Swarup Shakti, internal potency, takes the form of Dhamma. The spiritual realm or the Vaikuntha Dhamma, Golok Dhamma, all these manifestations, they are transformation of Krishna's Sandhini Shakti. No? So when Krishna wants to demonstrate and bless the conditioned souls to become, or the giving them the opportunity and the creating the possibility for their becoming attracted to Krishna. So Krishna descends in this realm with his Swarup Shakti, which is manifest as the abode of the Lord for the convenience of the Lord's pastime. The purport of this is that in the material universes, there are 14 planetary systems, 7 heavens and 7 hells. Beyond that are 8 layers of mundane elements in this material realm. So beyond this manifestation of 14, from Brahmalok to Patal, 7 below the earth and 7 above, along with. So beyond that, the layers of these elements, earth and water and the fire, air, sky, ahankar, and these 8 layers, prakriti, mahattattva. These are 8 layers. Beyond that are 8 layers of mundane elements, and beyond that is the causal ocean or Braja or Viraja. Above that is Siddhaloka, which is the abode of Sayujya Mukti, those who want to become merged in the non-dual existence or the non-dualistic liberation. They go there. Or they are put there as long as so how long a living entity can live in isolation, in non-action. However greatly miserable the actions and entanglement of this world may be, but the living entity by nature is a conscious being. It has the tendency to have some feeling, willing, and doing. It has the capacity to feel something. To become bereft of the possibility of feeling, willing, and doing, the one becomes like a stone. So who would want to become a stone or motionless? Can that be the highest possible achievement? No. But because sadhakas or other practitioners not having the option of blissful existence of motion, where the feeling, the proclivity of feeling, willing, and doing is utilized to cause the highest experience of joy in relation with the divine couple. So being bereft of that information, they settle with non-action or desiring no motion, motionlessness in non-dualistic liberation. That cannot be the highest thing. So this is the non-differentiated light of Brahman. So beyond Siddhaloka or Mukti Loka is the Paravyoma, or the innumerable different Vaikuntha planets, where innumerable personalities of Godhead reside. When one of these personalities of Godhead wish to perform some pastimes in the phenomenal world, this world of our experience, then his abode and its inhabitants, the Lord's associates, descend and appear in this world. Hence, it is described in the Skanda Purana that the abodes of the Lord are present simultaneously in Vaikuntha above and also on earth. Since Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, and similarly, his abode is stationed at the summit of the spiritual sky. Hmm. This abode of Vrindavan, which is situated at the summit, is also present on earth by its inconceivable potency. Thus, one abode is simultaneously present at both places. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes in Adi Leela this wonderful information where it describes that beyond the material world is the abode named Paravyoma. Para means beyond this realm of three modes of material nature. That's called Vaikuntha. Beyond the material world or realm, which is under the influence of the three modes of material nature, is the abode named Paravyoma, which is qualified and opulent as Sri Krishna's own form. You know, so the abode of the Lord is non-different from Krishna, being the manifestation of his Swarup Shakti, or internal potency, which is never separated from Krishna. That's the nature. So something which is not never separated from Krishna is non-different from Krishna. It's like Krishna's hand is also Krishna. So are the Krishna's eternal associates, Krishna's eternal abode, everything. That's why Krishna's name, form, pastimes, qualities, Krishna's abode, Krishna's associates, and Krishna, all the paraphernalia of Krishna's enjoyment, they are all Krishna only. So they form Krishna's own form. Krishna and his avatars, incarnations, his avatars recline in the innumerable Vaikuntha abodes. They are residing in different Vaikuntha abodes. So Vrindavan we can call as the original or supreme Vaikuntha, highest Vaikuntha. And they are all pervading and innumerable. How can innumerable Vaikuntha abodes can be all pervading and innumerable? So this is the inconceivable, in the sense that ultimately the original form of Godhead is Sri Krishna, and because other Vaikuntha planets and other manifestations of Krishna, they are not different from Krishna. So it is not that there is any conflict, because only one thing or one person can be all pervading. Multiple people or place cannot be all pervading. So in that sense, we should not become confused that how can all the planets can be all pervading, because they are non different. It's just variegatedness is in the mood, expansions of the same thing. That's why they are non different. But the kind of sweetness, the variegatedness, in rasa, in mellow, different. So you can say that ultimately the whole existence is expansion of the original abode, Vaikuntha called Vrindavan. But uh, to create the situations in different moods and reciprocation, so we find that the mood and the reciprocation found demonstrated in Golok Vrindavan or Vrindavan, Braj Vrindavan, and especially the most confidential aspect of exchange of mellow, conjugal affairs of the divine couple, the very secretive groves of Vrindavan, and the possibility of our connectivity, our entrance into that realm. In what mood one can reach there? Only by becoming a confidential, a choicest maid servant of Srimati Radharani. By no other means, or others are not even allowed there, unless one develops this mood of bhavolasrati, aspires for it. This because this is what Mahaprabhu has come to give. Mahaprabhu wants all of us to aspire to target Radharani's lotus feet, because only by attaining that status, we become eligible to experience the highest level, or the highest level of experiencing Krishna's sweetness. So, beyond even that is the place called Krishna Loka. Innumerable Vaikuntha abodes, different manifestations of Krishna in incarnations. But beyond even that is a place called Krishna Loka, which is divided in 3 divisions: Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul. But in Gokul only, Krishna's highest manifestation, Rup Goswami describes in Bhakti Samad Sindhu. Hari Purna Tarah Purna Tarah Purna Iti Tridha. Hari means the Supreme Lord. Hari here, the highest. Hari Purna. Krishna is complete. So how can, if something is complete, there could be anything more complete and most complete? We never heard such kind of thing. More complete. If complete is not as if enough, na? More complete and most complete. But it's a non-dualistic way of saying. But they are non-different. That's why they are non-dual. But they can be in variegatedness. So Krishna's manifestation in Dwarka is complete. His manifestation, his mood, his disposition. In Mathura, he is more complete, but in his disposition, his manifestation, Brajendranadan Krishna is the most complete. From 3 aspects. From the viewpoint of manifestation of Krishna's opulence, manifestation of Krishna's sweetness, and also manifestation of Krishna's mercy. From 3 viewpoints, from 3 angles, from 3 aspects, Krishna is most complete, highest manifestation of divinity. 3 aspects. And from the viewpoint of opulence, manifestation of opulence. From the viewpoint of manifestation of Krishna's sweetness. And from the viewpoint of manifestation of Krishna's mercy. Krishna is most complete in Vrindavan. Although Vrindavan is a realm of sweetness, but is also in in it also is manifest the abode of highest opulence. We consider Vaikuntha realm as the abodes of opulence, no? But in Vrindavan itself, innumerable Vaikuntha and Vaikuntha Murti, Sriman Narayan were manifest. We can study this when Brahma stole the calves and the cowherd boys, then Krishna himself became, and Brahmaji saw innumerable Vishnu Murtis and Vaikuntha manifest in little place in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan, apparently it may be limited, but it is unlimited. It is the source, or it is the source of all the Vaikunthas and all the others. So Vrindavan is inconceivable. So we have to appreciate the limitness of our perception. It's very easy, correct? We can see that beyond certain distance, we cannot see our eyes, which we are so proud to see. Our hearing, we are proud of our sense perception or capacity of the senses, but very easily that we are limited in our estimation, how much things are beyond us. Most things are beyond us. So in order to appreciate that Vrindavan, although it appears apparently limited to us, but it is unlimited in every aspect. The viewpoint of the opulence in Vrindavan, opulence, sweetness of Vrindavan, and also the mercy one receives in Vrindavan. So this abode is all pervading and unlimited like Krishna's body. It spreads above and below without any restriction. By Krishna's wish, it becomes manifest in the mundane universes. But it has only one basic form and not two separate ones. The soil consists of thought gems, Chintamani, and the forests consist of wish-yielding trees. Wow. But the physical eyes perceive it as a mundane place. Its actual form, though, is manifest to the eyes of love divine. Wow. Its actual form, transcendental form, most opulent and most sweet nature of Vrindavan is manifest to the eyes of love divine. Whose eyes? Here the cowherds and the cowherd girls, play with Krishna. That kind of sexual form. So Krishna's ultimate beauty is manifest in association with the cowherd boys and cowherd girls, ultimately. Cowherd girls and Supreme. Braja Yavata Mauli Mallika. Radhani is described as Braja Yavat Mauli Mallika. She's the Mallika. Mauli. The crown of all the beautiful love ladies, gopis of Vrindavan. For the sake of the worldly people, this transcendental abode of Vrindavan has assumed a worldly form as it appears to us, which is called the visible form of the holy Dhama. So, Jiva Goswami describes in his Sandarbha, there are three manifestations of Vrindavan. During Prakat Leela, then Krishna personally manifests himself to perform his most loving pastimes. At that time, everybody gets to see Krishna, even the conditioned soul. Everybody, Krishna makes himself available, perceivable, appreciable, touchable, listenable, all these things, flavor. That is when Krishna is manifest himself. Then when Krishna leaves or becomes unmanifest, Krishna doesn't have to go anywhere. He just becomes unmanifest. At that time, nobody can see Krishna. But Krishna is still there. That is called Aprakat Prakash. Prakat Prakash when Krishna is manifest, visible to everyone. Aprakat Prakash when Krishna becomes unmanifest to the eyes of all of us, those who live in Vrindavan. But those who have developed their love consciousness, loving, they can see. The very fortunate ones can still see Krishna playing his pastimes in Vrindavan. They get that glimpse once in a while. That is called aprakat prakash of Vrindavan. But for the most people, conditioned souls, the present vision of Vrindavan is the mundane prakash, Jagat prakash. Everything, even in Vrindavan, the transcendental land, everything appears just like any other land, non-different. So those who are not sadhakas, those who have not been blessed to appreciate the transcendental glory of Vrindavan, for them it's no different than any other land. But for sadhakas, for all of us, we will treat Vrindavan as, as a transcendental only. So then, so for the sake of the worldly people, this transcendental abode of Vrindavan has assumed a worldly form, so that only those who are eligible, those who have developed sufficient appreciation for the transcendental nature of Vrindavan. Others, because offense is committed in knowledge. So most people who visit Vrindavan, they are ignorant. No? They just superficially, although they hear that, oh, Vrindavan is a word of the Lord, but they don't, because they have not gone through the culture of Krishna consciousness. For them, even after hearing or that yes, Vrindavan is special and all these things, but they end up just treating Vrindavan just like any other place. Although they go there, but in order that they don't commit offense. So they remain deprived of appreciating the transcendental nature of Vrindavan. That's why, for the sake of worldly people, this transcendental abode of Braja has assumed a worldly form. Okay, you will do your worldly activities or things that will be called papa, sinful activities. So sinful activities are performed in ignorance. Aparadha is committed in knowledge. And so the consequences of committing aparadha in Vrindavan, especially for the sadhakas, we know that Vrindavan is transcendental and everything. We 100% believe in whatever is described and glorified about Vrindavan. So if you commit the offense, then it is a very serious thing. But for the worldly people, the Vrindavan is taken a worldly form, which is called the visible form of holy Dharma. Otherwise, conditioned human beings, it is described that conditioned souls, human beings, cannot or would not come to and live in or come to come to any other holy abode than this. What it, you know, it's a all wonderful arrangement by Krishna, so that oh Prakriti. So this is the special mercy of this abode itself, that for the worldly people, this transcendental abode of Vrindavan has assumed a worldly form and very easy to familiarize with it. No? And that's why this visible form of Holy Dham. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the conditioned souls to come to Vrindavan. Vrindavan itself has manifest in a worldly form so that people can come and feel easy. Eventually, coming to Vrindavan and becoming blessed with the association of the pure sadhus who are enlightened in the transcendental nature, enlightened by the transcendental perception of Vrindavan Dham. Then these conditioned souls can also. So coming to Vrindavan is made possible by the mercy of the abode itself. It has taken a mundane, worldly form. Otherwise, conditioned souls, human beings would not come and live in Vrindavan. So this most compassionate, supernatural holy Dharma has assumed a material form and dwells in the material world so that the practitioners can live in this Brajadhama. We are used to living in material world, correct? So similarly, we can also become used to living in Vrindavan. That's the point. It's not something out of this world experience or something which we may not adjust. The way we have been living in material world anywhere else. Similarly, we can make our residence in Vrindavan with a firm, absolute faith and conviction that this is a transcendental abode. So we don't have to become or live in any other style or anything. It has manifest just like any other place in this world. So it's a mercy of Vrindavan that we don't have to make out of our reach adjustment to live in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is livable because it just appears like a material world anywhere else. So that the practitioners can live in this Vrindavan, which is a great incitement for their bhajana and can swiftly be blessed with attainment of Prema. So we have to go to Vrindavan with absolute understanding that although it appears worldly, it is anything but worldly. Which practitioner who wishes for his own benefit would not want to live in this Vrindavan Dham, where the means and the goal meet each other? Wow. The means is to just Tishtan Braje Tadanu Ragi Janam. Means is to live in the association of those who are very advanced in that mood, and that when we develop the affinity to live in that atmosphere and that way, in the association of pure devotees, discussing and relishing Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, etc., then developing that mood and appreciation and the affinity for living in Vrindavan, that's the end. We go to Vrindavan not to die in Vrindavan. We go to Vrindavan to live in Vrindavan. Because that is our aspiration. So if we just continue staying in Vrindavan, the material nature, any material aspect of our existence, like this gross material body, etc., it will take its course, and the so-called event of death will also come. But we, with our real self, real identification we have developed and nurtured in Vrindavan, is a choicest maid servant of Srimati Radharani. Sadhane bhavive jahan siddha dehe paiveda. During this practicing time, sadhak is a sadhak. If we develop and bhaviva means whatever contemplation we sustain, accordingly we get the destination. So it is said that it is all possible in Vrindavan. Which practitioner who wishes for his own benefit would not want to live in Sri Vrindavan Dhama, where the means and the goal meet each other, and thus be blessed with the attainment of prema. Sadhane bhavive jahan. During the sadhana means stage, following the means, the path of this pure devotional service, this means itself becomes the goal. And this is how one becomes so absolutely attached to Vrindavan. Then one is directly, he is already there. So although presently it appears mundane, but once who has developed that affinity for living in Vrindavan, he attains his absolute destination in this very lifetime. So somehow there is sadhaka, if you can have this focus that somehow I end up being in Vrindavan at the end of this material, this our existence here in this body. How much faith one has that one insists. It is like, when a person, before he passes away, he writes a will. In his will, he says, this be done, that be done, like this. So we have the opportunity to will, at least will, that we end up, our last rituals are performed in Vrindavan. That guarantees, and especially in Radha Kund, that one will attain the fulfillment of one's heart's innermost aspiration of attaining Sri Radha Darshan. The practitioners live in Vrindavan Dham with their present bodies and worship Sri Krishna, Sri Radha Krishna. They are Brajavasa Govinda Sevana. If one does not attain the good fortune of worship of Sri Govinda, even though one lives in Vrindavan, that's not so good. Then even such direct residence in Vrindavan will not be blissful. That's true. Wow, such a warning. If one does not attain the good fortune of worship of Sri Govinda or Sri Radha Govinda, even though one lives in Vrindavan, then even such direct residence in Vrindavan will not be blissful. We can find miserable people even in Vrindavan also, unfortunately. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written, Vrindavane ki mathva nija mandireva, nija mandireva, Kara grihe kimathva kanakasaniva, Aindram bhaje kimathva narkam bhajami, Sri Krishna sevanam, Sri Krishna sevanam rite, rite means accept. Sri Krishna sevanam rite na sukham kadapi. There is no happiness. There is no happiness except in worship of the divine couple. Whether in Vrindavan or in one's own home, whether in prison or on a golden throne, whether in heaven or in hell, there can be no happiness without serving Sri Krishna. Residence in Vrindavan is for blessing one's own life. Residence in Vrindavan is for blessing one's own life by worshipping Sri Krishna, Sri Govinda. Those who live a mundane life in Vrindavan, which is the greatest field, those who live a mundane life in Vrindavan, although Vrindavan is the greatest field to be in for practicing bhajana or relishing the transcendental flavors of Vrindavan, and are immersed in gross happiness of eating and sleeping, are certainly deplorable, unfortunate. For such unfortunate souls, it seems that one day this great sound emanated from the poets and the great stalwart devotees. They have put in their songs. They are expressing the misfortune of those who, although living in Vrindavan apparently, but they are hankering for something else. Not hankering, immersed in gross happiness of eating and sleeping, are certainly deplorable. It is like the example given is by the poets have given this that Sindhu nikate jadi kantha sukhaibo ko dure korobo piyase. Vidyapati has penned this observation that although they have come to Vrindavan and still they are unfulfilled, still hankering for mundane fulfillment. Who will go far, basically? Who should go far away to quench the thirst of one's parched throat, one who is, when the ocean is so close by? This should be so one who has come to Vrindavan, the source of all fulfillment. Should he go anywhere else other than Vrindavan? Or in other words, what it means, if thirst is not quenched even by coming to the ocean of nectar that is Vrindavan, then what in the world will be able to quench that thirst? So if one cannot find fulfillment even in Vrindavan, then Vrindavan also is hankering for mundane things, and he cannot be happy anywhere else. So at least by coming to Vrindavan, if we appreciate its real transcendental nature, then we should hanker only to become blessed, to be allowed to relish the transcendental flavor of Vrindavan and not hanker for mundane things, which are hankered after by all the conditioned souls all over the universe. So coming to Vrindavan, we should not just hanker for anything mundane. That's the point. Because if thirst is not quenched even by coming to the ocean of nectar, that's Vrindavan, then what in the world will be able to quench that thirst? Nowhere else. Now it is being established that Brajadham Vrindavan is the best place to relish the flavors of bhajana. Yes. Krishna Katha Krishna Nama Satya Satya Rasadham Braj Janer Sang Anukshana. Krishna Katha Krishna Nama Satya Satya Braj Dham Braj Janer Sang Anukshana. Constantly being in association of the real Brajvasis who are so attached to the worship of the lotus feet of the divine couple. The Rasadhama or paramount sweet relish that arises by living in Vrindavan and constantly discussing topics of Krishna in the company of the residents of Vrindavan should be known as truer than true, or the paramount truth. To start with, one very swiftly develops love for the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna means she stands for Radharani. This is the effect. one very swiftly develops love for the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna by hearing about the forms, pastimes, and attributes of Sri Krishna that are all elixir, nectar for the heart and the ears, from the mouths of the great saints, and above and beyond that, one experiences the greatest nectar or rasadhama by hearing that the greatest field for remembering the Lord's pastime is in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Wow. Greatest field for remembering the Lord's pastime is in this Vrindavan Dham, which is the Lord's very own playground. Then again, there can be no place like Vrindavan, where topics of Sri Krishna's pastimes can be perceived as they are heard from the mouths of the resident great saints there. So that is the highest, if you want to really be blessed with the highest blessings and fortune of being in Vrindavan, then then we must attain the association of the great saints who reside in Vrindavan and hear from their mouths. Naturally, those who have developed affinity for towards the transcendental sweetness of Vrindavan, they are experiencing that sweetness. And so if we can come in association of such resident great saints there, then we stand. Nowhere else we can find that portion, no? Especially those who would stay with determination with Vrindavan, because they have developed that affinity. So the appreciation for Vrindavan they are experiencing, or the level of faith they have attained towards Vrindavan. By association of such great saints, we can also become infected with the same transcendental appreciation for Vrindavan Dham. Because nowhere else they are so supremely tasty to the audiences there. If we hear the glory of Vrindavan from the residents of Vrindavan, naturally nobody living outside Vrindavan can describe Vrindavan's glory as much. Then again, by constantly associating with the great saints that reside in Vrindavan, their hearts attributes of humility, simplicity, modesty, and purity will become infused in those who associate with them. Wow, correct? Amazing. Is a concomitant factor, thus swiftly making their hearts and minds qualified for relishing rasa. So, in order to be able to relish rasa in Vrindavan, we must make it possible to associate with the very advanced saintly people, because they are endowed with such wonderful qualities of attributes of humility, simplicity, modesty, and purity. With service mood, if we associate and hear from such advanced devotees, then we will also become infused with those very qualities. As a concomitant factor, as an effect, जिसका करे संग उसका लगे रंग. The kind of people you associate, you become infused with their qualities, thus swiftly making their hearts and minds qualified for relishing rasa more and more and more. The principles of Sri Krishna and his holy name, in conclusion, Krishna and Krishna's holy name, they are non-different. Therefore, the endless relish of the mellows of Sri Krishna, who is an ocean of sweetness, are all invested within Krishna's holy name. Nam, Rupa, Guna, Lila. However, just as a tongue just as a tongue that is afflicted with the disease of jaundice cannot experience the sweetness of rock candy. Similarly, the tongue which is polluted by offenses, or the heart that is polluted by ignorance, cannot experience any relish of the holy name. The more the heart gets purified and offenses disappear by practicing bhajan items like hearing, chanting, etc., in the company of saints, in the company of saintly pure devotees, the more the more the self-manifest holy name of Sri Krishna manifests its own relishable sweetness within the heart of the practitioner. We have to attain that position where we can chant and relish Krishna's name without committing offense. So only when we insist to associate with more advanced devotees and live under their directions and guidance, so then we can live offenseless life. So by living in Vrindavan and associating with the devotees of Vrindavan, obstacles like offenses very swiftly disappear from the heart, and the practicing soul will be blessed with the sweet flavors of the holy name. This is exactly how the essence of all instructions Rupa Goswami describes, with which we will conclude today's discussion. Upadeshamit Rupa Goswami has revealed this is the essence of all Vedic teachings and all the great sayings of the Mahajans. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasena Manasi Niyoja Tishtan Praje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayeda Kilamiti Upadesha Saram. Engaging the tongue and the mind respectively in glorifying and recollecting the holy names, forms, attributes, and pastimes of Brajendranand Sri Krishna, Sri Radha Govinda, is the greatest possible way. One should live one's whole life in Vrindavan, following in the footsteps of the devotees of Braja, who are very attached to Sri Krishna, Radha Krishna. This is the essence of all instructions. Once again repeating. Engaging the tongue and the mind respectively in glorifying and recollecting the holy names, forms, attributes, and pastimes of Brajendrananda Sri Krishna. In the greatest possible way. One should live in order to do that. One should live one's whole life in Vrindavan, following in the footsteps of the devotees of Braja, who are very attached to Sri Krishna. This is the essence of all instructions. So if we really want to experience or engaging the tongue and the mind respectively in glorifying and recollecting the holy names, forms, pastimes, attributes of Brajana Krishna in the highest possible way. Highest possible way this will be made possible if one lives one's whole life in Vrindavan, following in the footsteps of the devotees of Braja, who are very attached to Sri Krishna. And this is the essence of all instructions. Boli Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Sai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Bol. Thank you for your patient listening, and we can have some mutual discussion. Any question, comment, or any fascination in one's feeling, observation, please come forward. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
It's truly fascinating, Shri Guru, hearing from you the glories of Shri Dham Vrindavan, and it's very pulling towards Sri Dham Vrindavan and the magnanimity of Sri Dham Vrindavan and also the consciousness and very encouraging, Shri Guru. Hopefully, under your guidance and shelter, one day I soon enough build this mood, Shri Guru. Shri Guru, one question. Is it the same living in Vrindavan? Is it same as residing in Mayapur or residing in Jagannath Puri and doing bhajan?
Mayapur, Vrindavan, they are no different. Gauda, Timur Thakur sings, na? Gauda Braja Bane और गौड़ ब्रज जने भेद ना देखिबो हरिबो Brajabasi. To becoming true Brajavasi, uh, one has to develop this perception, understanding that Vrindavan and Mayapur are non different. And that's why the true residents of Mayapur are non different from the residents of Vrindavan. Having said this, still their manifestation different in mood. It is described that in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, the Lord's appearance is Mahaprabhu. What is the prominence in Mahaprabhu? Bhava, the prominence of Bhava. And through Bhava, he's relishing the rasa. Krishna himself is the embodiment of rasa. So in Vrindavan, the prominence is of rasa. But who is experiencing? The experiencer are the devotees, the Radharani and the gopis and everybody, correct? And in Mayapur, the manifestation of Mahaprabhu, the prominence is of Bhava. And through that prominence of Bhava, Krishna is relishing the sweetness of Krishna. Correct? So we want to become the relisher. We want to experience the mellow of Krishna only by becoming devotee in the following in the footsteps of those who are in that particular bhava of confidential maid servant of Srimati Radharani. So that groves of Vrindavan are, very much still present in Vrindavan. So staying in Vrindavan itself is the most catalytic to attain the Braja Bhakti Prema. For sadhakas, for purification, and because the effect of influence is minimal, not so prominent in Mayapur, that's why sadhana is, but those who are in Braja Nikunj, Nikunja Rasa, Nikunja Leela Rasa. Vrindavan is, but one has to come to that elevated stage of one's consciousness, whereby one can transcend the material vision of Vrindavan and material activities or mundane affairs also manifest in Vrindavan like any other place. So if one is situated in transcendental consciousness, then, and especially connecting to Manjari Bhav Upasana, Raganuga Bhakti, Vrindavan definitely is more catalytic, no doubt about it. Most catalytic. Although Mayapur is no different from Vrindavan, and we should not diminish the value of Mayapur Dham also. It's just like still it's like Gupta Vrindavan. Most people still do not know that Mayapur is no different from Vrindavan. Most devotee sadhak also they accept it in theory, but in realization, most of us are still missing it. No? Nonetheless, to increase our, or to see the from possibility point of view, if we have, if we can sustain the transcendental vision of Vrindavan, not just regular initial sadhakas, if we have developed, when we become blessed with the transcendental vision of Vrindavan, then definitely being in Vrindavan would be most fascinating. All right.
Yes, Shri Guru.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All right. So today we will. So, anything else from anyone? All right then. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bo.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Dandavat Pranam. The glory of Vrindavan, Shri Guru, the sweetness of Vrindavan, the beauty of Vrindavan is all from you, Shri Guru. Is all from you, is all because of you, is all for you, Shri Guru, and is all of you, Shri Guru. And for us, Shri Guru, you are our Brajvasi, Shri Guru, or all of it. Uh, You are the carry the embodiment of Sridham Vrindavan Shri Guru in all form and shape, and continuously, rigorously inspire us, educate us, train us, warn us in all form and shape to be appreciating the ras in Vrindavan and opening these doors of Nikun Seva and Mahaprabhu's ultimate mercy, Shri Guru. Simultaneously, this is the prayer, Shri Guru, under your kind lotus feet, shelter and guidance. Somehow continue pulling me in, Shri Guru. Somehow continue pulling me in. all by your mercy. Koti koti pranam Shri Guru.
Yeah, we need dual engine, push and pull, correct? Then, meaning that we have no idea how much we are stuck in this mundane material consciousness, correct? So it's a great fortune for all of us that we desire to have what Mahaprabhu has come to give us. And now, in order to really accomplish, we have to safeguard our association. And then also, one's readiness and the association of advanced devotee and their our confidence in them will encourage them to pull us into the real realm. Our being ready to be pulled and they're agreeing to pull us out. That will do it. Hare Krishna. I go, everyone.
We all will loudly chant 3 times the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the pleasure of our dearest Shri Guru. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama.
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
आज we call out Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Sat Srimat His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Swarup Govind Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Jai Gurudev.
Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bo. So again today the youngest participant is invisible. Yeah, Kishori. Gaurangi.
She's Gaurangi's friendship.
Ach,
Pranam Shri Guru, Hare Krishna.
this is almost. Oh, Gaurangi is there. Okay.
Pranam Guru Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Sri Swami Bhaktivastu. Gaur Premanande Hari.
श्री गुरु वो श्लोक जो आपने बताया था वो आधा हो गया है श्री गुरु।
आधा.
हाँ अभी करना है।
हाँ तो
नहीं अब
पूरा
दिन मैं कर लूंगी।
पूरा करके बता देना. आधे में ही सेटल नहीं हो जाना है.
हाँ श्री
अब आधे का अनाउंस किया है ना, वैसे पूरा पूरे का अनाउंस करना है. You to announce the full. Because if you announce half and if you get fulfillment in half, then you remain half. Correct? We must focus the full circle. Any innumerable times we have just settled with a half, you know. So we have to give up this feeling fulfilled even in half. Mm. Our potential is to go the whole circle, full, correct? And more full and more full. All right?
जय श्री गुरु।
Pranam.
Hare Krishna. I go Premanande Hari 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 Hari. Bol.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, welcome. Sri Swamini Matirastu. Everything all right in Vrindavan?
Yeah. By your mercy, everything is all right. Keep mercy on us only. If you keep mercy on us, everything will be all right.
Yeah. Being in Vrindavan, one must feel all right.
Yeah.
That is the attitude that we cannot imagine to be in a better place than being in Vrindavan.
Yes, yes, very true,
In,
very true,
in spite of all the
very true.
Vrindavan, in spite of all the things which apparently are going on in Vrindavan, we must sustain the transcendental vision of Vrindavan. To
Sure,
be
sure, sure.
able to stay there forever. Right?
Right, right,
And the
right,
highest
right.
one is Radha Kund.
Yeah,
So we should desire that we end up this life in Radha Kund.
right, right, right.
You know, that is the, and so we must, if we contemplate all the time, then we will be blessed to have that perception, of Radha Kund to end up with, that should be our goal, that we end up in Radha Kund. That will make us a true eternal Brajvasi, ultimately. For us, because we are not born in Vrindavan, we haven't lived in Vrindavan enough, so at least if we can end up, means if we can be buried or burned in Vrindavan, our present existence, because we very much, with this body only, we accomplish everything. So wherever we carry our body, that means we are also going there, no? So our willingness
Yeah.
in Vrindavan will be perfected if we carry our body and manage to stay there. Then we will end up also in Vrindavan. End up in Vrindavan is not just like we end up there, then people come out and go there. We end up means we stay there forever. Nitai go Premanande, Hari 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 go. All right?
Hare Krishna Shri Guru Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sri Swami Namaste. Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Hari. So we'll meet you all in less than 1.5 hours.
Pranam Shri Guru, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, welcome.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna, Sri Swami Namaste to everyone. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Hare Krishna, welcome. Sri Swami Namaste. Nitai Gaur Premanande.